Alright, Lawrence Okolie makes his heavyweight debut, knocks out Hussein Muhammed in a round. Yeah, so let's talk about this one. This was it was entertaining while it lasted a round. Slightly longer than the last fight, Adelaide versus Solomon Dakis. Lawrence Okolie, that's back-to-back first-round knockouts. They have been more entertaining the last two performances, although the level has significantly dropped. Right. Look, I did a video yesterday about Lawrence Okolie, me essentially reacting to the weigh-in. Now, Lawrence Okolie, big cruiserweight, massive cruiserweight, had a massive advantage there, could ragdoll people. He was, I think Richie Woodall said it, he was, a cruiserweight in the heavyweight's body. And he really was. Now, I didn't think Lawrence Okolie was a natural 260-pound man. And he isn't. He doesn't look like fat, but, he looks well fed. That's the best way. He looks well fed. Winter is cold, and I would imagine he's not going to be as cold as other people. But, I wouldn't say he's crazy, overweight or anything like that. He's not. But I looked at the weigh-in and I thought, you know what? If he'd weighed 240, I would have been like, oh, okay. I'd be surprised, but that's okay. Let's see what you can do with that weight. 260, it's like no face. Everything just looks way bigger. And in the short time we've seen him in the ring, for me, from the naked eye, he looked noticeably slower. He tried to start the fight, bobbing on his toes, a bit like he did at cruiserweight. And it was messy, Hussein Muhammad was holding. It was awkward, as it often is with Lawrence Okolie in his fights. Is very he's never going to be pleasing on the eye in terms of watching fight. But he looked noticeably slower in there. And I don't know if it was me just looking at the angles maybe incorrectly or reading but it looked almost like, at certain points he was already, taking gulps of air in. And I'm thinking, mate, against this guy, you can get away with it. And you did. This guy was as crude as anything. He was no head movement. And I remember Okolie at one point in this fight he was using his jab to good effect. And Okolie was just holding his jab out. And he literally just went, pop. And the guy's head, did no head movement whatsoever. Just standing there like, do you want to hit me? Do you want to hit me? Try. Okay, well done. That's what it was like. It was literally just like, stand there and see how hard he can hit you. Turns out very hard. That's what it was like. This guy had no defense to speak of. You can get away with it against this type of opponent. He couldn't take a shot. He was awkward with how he was throwing the shots. This is the opponent, Muhammad, now. And when he tried to go for a body shot, he left his chin wide open in the air and he walked into a big right hand. He went down. Referee Lee Every could have let it carry on. And I'm kind of like, you probably should have. But he waved it off anyway. What do you expect? I don't mean that as in it was a fixture, but UK, they tend to stop fights a little bit too early for my liking at times. But Okolie can get away with it against someone like this. Moving forward, he's going to want to take some of that timber off. As I said in the video I did about the weigh-in, he's never going to be a natural 260 pounder. He's never going to be able to match someone who's naturally walk around, no issues, 240 pounds for strength, even if he is 20 pounds heavier. His frame is not designed to carry that kind of weight. He is going to absolutely be blown out of his ass after about 3 rounds if he's in there with someone who's anyway decent and can set a decent pace. Could you imagine Okolie in there against Lawrence Okolie? I know their last names sound like, but could you imagine it? He'd be ragdolled. He'd be screwed. He'd be effed pretty damn quickly. Dubois would ragdoll him. A lot of the top heavyweights would ragdoll him. I know he's got this high ranking with the WBC. I don't understand why, rankings. That's why rankings are such a joke, that a guy can never fight at heavyweight and just say, can you give me a high ranking? And Sullivan being the main character syndrome clown that he is, facilitates it. No, nothing against Okolie, just more so that's stupid rankings. He's not done anything at heavyweight, so why are you ranking him so high? At heavyweight, Usyk is obviously the champion. That mandatory won't, well, he's not mandatory, but you look at guys in the rankings and you're like, man, I can see you struggling. Zhang, Caballel, Okolie, Dubois, etc. Telma, the likes of them, these are all, even a Telma, and Lawrence Okolie aspired to Telma. He knows what he's going to deal with someone like him, and he knows that Telma is very, very good. That was a much lighter Okolie, you got to remember. At this weight, you can get away with it against guys like this. You are not going to get away with being 260 pounds or, God forbid, heavier in the future. It's just not going to happen. So, damn. I'm still... he looks slow in there. Power is still there. And I thought the power, regardless of the weight, would generate the heavyweight. I thought that. But, oh boy. That he got to take some of that weight off. 100%. Let's go 100% take some of that weight off. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Were you impressed? Do you think, looking at that performance, you're like, I've changed my mind on Okolie at heavyweight? Or he's done? Let me know your thoughts. Hope you enjoyed it. Smash the like button if you could. And subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. Until next time, people, I will leave it there. Peace.